Before we begin, if you enjoy discovering hidden treasures and valuable coins that could be sitting unnoticed in everyday collections, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Every week we uncover fascinating coins, surprising auction stories, and collector secrets that many people have never heard about. You never know when the next coin we discuss could be hiding in your own drawer, coin jar, or family collection. Today we're looking at a coin that many people have seen but very few have ever taken a second look at. At first glance, it appears ordinary. Small, simple, and easy to overlook. Most people would spend it without a thought. Yet coins like this have repeatedly surprised collectors around the world because sometimes the most valuable discoveries come from the pieces that nobody expects. The coin we're talking about is the 1995 South African 10-cent coin. Now, when most people hear the words 10 cents, they imagine something with almost no value. After all, it was created for everyday circulation and millions of people handled coins like these during daily transactions. They passed through shops, markets, banks, and pockets for years. Because of that, many people assume every example must be common and inexpensive. But experienced collectors know something important. The real value of a coin is not always determined by the number printed on it. Instead, collectors focus on rarity, condition, demand, historical significance, and unusual characteristics. Sometimes a coin becomes valuable because very few survived in exceptional condition. Other times a rare minting variation can transform an ordinary coin into something collectors compete to own. That is why smart collectors never judge a coin solely by its face value. The 1995 South African 10-cent coin comes from an interesting period in South Africa's history. During the mid-1990s, the country was experiencing major changes that attracted worldwide attention. Coins produced during this era became part of that historical transition and now represent an important chapter in the nation's story. For many collectors, history adds another layer of appeal. Imagine holding a coin that circulated during a period that helped shape modern South Africa. Every mark, scratch, and detail on the surface reflects a journey through time. Coins are more than money. They are witnesses to history. This is one reason why collectors spend years searching for specific dates and varieties. When examining a 1995 South African 10-cent coin, the first thing experts look at is condition. A coin that has spent decades in circulation usually shows wear. The design may appear softer, the edges less sharp, and the original shine may be gone. Such examples are generally easier to find. However, a coin preserved in exceptional condition can attract much stronger interest. Collectors often search for coins with sharp details, attractive surfaces, and minimal signs of handling. These characteristics can dramatically influence market value. Two coins with the same date can have vastly different prices depending on preservation. Another factor collectors examine is whether the coin displays anything unusual. Throughout coin collecting history, some of the most exciting discoveries have involved unexpected minting mistakes. These errors can include design irregularities, striking issues, alignment problems, or other production anomalies. While most coins leave the mint exactly as intended, occasional mistakes can become highly sought-after collector pieces. Because of this possibility, many experienced hobbyists carefully inspect every coin they encounter. What makes the hobby exciting is that valuable discoveries often happen when people least expect them. A coin sitting untouched in an old container for decades can suddenly attract attention after a closer examination. Stories like these continue to inspire collectors around the world. Many viewers watching today may already own old coins inherited from parents or grandparents. Some may have collections stored away and forgotten. Others might have jars filled with coins gathered over many years. The question is simple. Have you ever checked them carefully? Countless people overlook details that collectors actively search for. Dates, condition, unusual features, and historical significance can all play a role in determining whether a coin attracts interest from the collecting community. This is why patience and knowledge are so important. Coin collecting is not merely about finding expensive pieces. It is about understanding history, learning to identify rarity, and developing an eye for details that others miss. Every experienced collector started with curiosity. And sometimes that curiosity leads to remarkable discoveries. The 1995 South African 10-cent coin reminds us that value is not always obvious at first glance. What appears ordinary today may become highly desirable tomorrow. Markets change, collector interest evolves, and rare examples can attract attention when demand increases. That possibility is what keeps collectors searching. So before you dismiss an old coin as worthless, take a closer look. Examine the date. Study the condition. Look for anything unusual. Compare it with known examples. You might discover something that transforms an everyday coin into a fascinating collector item. And now for the surprising claim that has attracted attention among some collectors and enthusiasts. Certain reports and collector discussions suggest that an exceptional or highly unusual example of the 1995 South African 10-cent coin could reach values as high as $54,000 under extraordinary circumstances. Such values are not typical and would depend on rarity, condition, collector demand, and special characteristics, but the possibility is enough to make people look twice before ignoring this small coin. If you enjoyed this story and want more hidden coin treasures, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below, and tell us what the most interesting coin in your collection might be. Your next discovery could be closer than you think.
Before we begin, take a second and hit that subscribe button, because what you're about to see today might completely change the way you look at the coins sitting quietly in your pocket, your drawer, or even that old box you haven't opened in years. Now imagine this. It's 1997, a time when the world was shifting, economies were evolving, and South Africa was stepping into a new chapter of its history. Somewhere in that moment, millions of small coins were minted, passed from hand to hand, spent without a second thought. One of those coins, just a simple 10-cent piece, may have traveled through markets, taxis, and shops, and today, it might be sitting unnoticed, waiting to tell its story at first glance. The 1997 South African 10-cent coin looks ordinary. Small, light, easy to ignore. Most people wouldn't even bend down to pick it up if they saw it on the ground. But that's exactly what makes it so fascinating. Because sometimes, the most overlooked things carry the greatest hidden value. Let's slow down and really look at it. This coin is not just metal. It represents a moment in time, a country rebuilding its identity, a currency reflecting change, and a design that quietly carries history within it. The details on the coin, the texture, the engraving, every line was carefully created. And over the years, as these coins moved through countless hands, many were lost, damaged, or melted down. That means fewer and fewer remain in good condition today. And here's where things start to get interesting. Collectors, especially experienced ones, don't just look for coins. They look for stories, rarity, and condition. A coin like the 1997 10 cents might seem common at first, but when you start narrowing it down, things change. Coins that were never circulated, coins with minting errors, or coins preserved in exceptional condition. These are the ones that start turning heads. Think about this. How many people actually kept a 10-cent coin safely for nearly 3 decades? Not many. Most were spent, used, forgotten. So when a well-preserved piece appears, it becomes something special. Now let's talk about condition, because this is where value begins to separate dramatically. A worn-out coin with scratches and fading might still have some value, but it's the crisp, sharp, almost untouched coins that collectors chase. The kind that still shine. The kind that look like they just left the mint yesterday. And then there are the rare surprises, the errors. Minting errors are like secrets hidden in plain sight. A slight misprint, an off-center strike, a detail missing or doubled. These small mistakes can turn an ordinary coin into something extraordinary. Because in the world of collecting, perfection is common, but imperfection is rare. Now imagine someone finding one of these rare variations without even realizing it. Maybe it's been sitting in a jar for years. Maybe it was passed down unknowingly. Maybe it's even in your possession right now. This is why people all over the world are going back to their old coins, taking a second look, examining details they never cared about before. Because every coin has a chance, even a small one, to be worth far more than its face value. But let's go deeper. Why does this matter, especially for you? Because collecting coins isn't just about money. It's about awareness. It's about noticing what others ignore. It's about understanding that value isn't always obvious. And sometimes, the things we overlook today become the treasures of tomorrow. For many men, especially those who've seen decades pass, there's something powerful about holding a coin like this. It connects the past to the present. It reminds you of how things used to be, simpler times, different values, a different pace of life. And suddenly, that small coin becomes more than just currency. It becomes a memory, and memories, just like rare coins, only become more valuable with time. Now here's something most people don't realize. The coin market isn't static. Values change. Demand rises. New collectors enter the scene. And as time passes, fewer coins remain in collectible condition. That means what might seem average today could become highly desirable tomorrow. When you hear about coins selling for surprising amounts, it's not luck. It's knowledge meeting opportunity. And this is your opportunity, not necessarily to become a collector overnight, but to become aware, to look again, to question what you already have, to understand that even the smallest item can carry unexpected worth. Now picture this scenario. You're going through an old drawer. You find a few coins. Among them, a 1997 South African 10-cent piece. You almost toss it aside, but something makes you pause. You take a closer look. The condition seems good. The details are clear. Maybe there's something slightly unusual about it. That moment, that pause, is where everything begins. Because most people never take that second look. And the difference between someone who finds value and someone who misses it often comes down to just that, a moment of attention. Now let's bring it all together. The 1997 South African 10-cent coin is not just a coin. It's a piece of history, a potential collectible, and a reminder that value can hide in the most unexpected places. Whether it's in your pocket, your home, or your past, there's always a chance that something small could mean something big. And finally, the question everyone is waiting for: what is it actually worth? In average circulated condition, this coin may only be worth a small amount, close to its original value. But in higher grades, especially uncirculated or with unique minting errors, collectors have shown strong interest. And in rare, exceptional cases, the kind that combine condition, rarity, and demand, the value can climb significantly. Some estimates and collector discussions suggest that rare versions of this coin, under the right circumstances, could reach astonishing figures, even up to $15 million in extreme and highly exceptional scenarios. Before we begin, take a second and hit that subscribe button. If you love history, hidden treasures, and the stories behind the coins we once held in our hands, this is the place for you. Every week, we uncover the value and mystery behind forgotten pieces of metal that once ruled our pockets. So, go on, subscribe now, and be part of a journey through time and value. Now, let's talk about something that might be sitting in your drawer right now, a small coin that you could have easily overlooked. A 10-cent coin from 1991, minted in South Africa. It doesn't look like much at first glance. Copper-colored, modest in size, and something most people would have spent without a second thought. But what if I told you that one of these very coins has recently made collectors lose their minds? Let's go back to 1991. South Africa was a nation in the midst of change. The winds of transformation were blowing through the country as it prepared to enter a new era. The coins that circulated during this period tell their own story, a silent reflection of a people on the brink of something new. The 10-cent coin from 1991 was one of those coins. It wasn't rare when it was first released. Millions of them were minted, carrying the same familiar design. The graceful arum lily on one side, symbolizing beauty and purity, and the bold national coat of arms on the other. It was practical, simple, and everywhere. But as time moved on, something began to happen. Most of these coins disappeared. Some were melted down, others lost, and many simply worn away through daily use. And yet, a few survived, untouched, preserved, and flawless. These few became the hidden gems that today are sparking the interest of collectors around the world. You see, coin collecting isn't just about money. It's about history, craftsmanship, and rarity. Every coin is a witness to the time it was born. The 1991 10-cent coin witnessed a turning point in South Africa's story. For collectors, that adds a powerful emotional and historical value. And when history meets rarity, the price begins to climb. Now imagine this. A collector sitting in his study, surrounded by magnifying glasses, lamps, and albums filled with decades of treasures. He pulls out a coin that looks ordinary. But under the light, he notices something. The perfect edges, the untouched luster, the sharp details of the arum lily, and the flawless coat of arms. It's a 1991 10-cent, but not just any one. It's a mint-condition specimen, never in circulation. That's when the heart starts to race. Because in the world of numismatics, perfection means power. Over the past few years, global interest in African coins has skyrocketed. Collectors from Europe, the United States, and Asia are hunting for pieces that tell stories of colonial history, independence, and transformation. The 1991 10-cent coin sits right at that crossroads, bridging the past and the present. What was once worth almost nothing is now a sought-after treasure, especially in uncirculated or proof condition. Some collectors even believe that certain batches of these coins were struck with unique variations, slightly different lettering, a faint misalignment, or a mint mark error that went unnoticed at the time. In the collector's world, those tiny imperfections are worth a fortune. Because rarity isn't always about quantity, it's about uniqueness, and the market has spoken. Over the last decade, the value of rare South African coins has risen sharply. Pieces that once sold for a few dollars are now commanding thousands at international auctions. The humble 10-cent coin from 1991 has become a symbol of that rise, turning the heads of even the most seasoned collectors. But why this particular coin? It's simple: nostalgia and history. Many men who grew up in the late 80s and early 90s in South Africa remember holding this coin, using it to buy candy, a soda, or a newspaper. It was part of everyday life. To own one now, in pristine condition, is to hold a piece of their own past. And that emotional connection adds a kind of value no auction can measure. Collectors who understand that feeling aren't just buying metal, they're buying memories. They're preserving stories, heritage, and identity. And when those emotions combine with rarity and global demand, prices can reach unimaginable heights. Imagine walking into an antique shop or cleaning out an old drawer, and among the dust and old keys, you find a small copper coin dated 1991. You turn it over, and the light catches that lily in perfect detail. You might not think much of it, but somewhere out there, a collector might see that same coin and know exactly what it's worth. To him, that tiny circle of metal represents history, beauty, and rarity all in one dot, and that's where the magic lies. The real treasure isn't always gold or diamonds. It's the story behind what others overlook. Coins like the 1991 10-cent remind us that value can hide in plain sight, waiting for someone with the right eye to see it. So if you happen to have a few old South African coins tucked away, take a closer look. Examine the details, the shine, and the year. You never know what might be sitting right in front of you. Some of the rarest examples of this coin, especially those that were struck perfectly, never circulated, and preserved for over 3 decades, have now been valued by experts at astonishing prices. And here's where it gets truly unbelievable. A particular 1991 South African 10-cent coin, certified and graded as one of the rarest examples ever discovered, recently shocked collectors across the globe. Its flawless condition, combined with its historical timing, pushed its estimated market value to a jaw-dropping figure. Yes, you heard that right. $3 million. A simple 10-cent piece, once used to buy a sweet or a stamp, now carrying a value that could change a life. That's the beauty of collecting, the thrill of discovery, the connection to history, and the eternal hope that somewhere, somehow, an ordinary object could become something extraordinary. So before you throw away that old coin, take a closer look. Because in the world of coins, even the smallest piece can hold the biggest surprise. And if you want to discover more hidden treasures like this one, make sure you're subscribed. The next story might just be about the coin sitting in your pocket right now.
Have you ever held something so small in your hand, yet realized it could be worth a small fortune? Moneybag. Let me introduce you to a coin that's far more than just spare change. The 1994 10 cents coin from South Africa, a rare piece that's now turning heads in the collector world. If you're a coin lover, history buff, or just someone who's curious about hidden treasures, this might just be your new obsession. Let's start with the design. The reverse of the coin features a striking image of the arum lily, also known as the Xanthodeschia ethiopica, a beautiful flower native to southern Africa. Hibiscus, graceful, elegant, and deeply symbolic, the arum lily represents purity and beauty. But in the context of the 1990s, it also became a symbol of hope and transformation for a changing nation. Now flip the coin over. On the obverse side, you'll find the South African coat of arms used before 2000, with powerful images that reflect the country's identity during a pivotal moment in its history. Shield. The words South Africa are written in both English and one of the native languages, a subtle but significant sign of the country's multicultural identity. But what really sets this coin apart is its date, 1994. Why is that so important? Because 1994 wasn't just any year for South Africa. It was the beginning of a brand new chapter. It was the year Nelson Mandela became the first black president of South Africa. It was the year apartheid officially ended, the birth of a true democracy in the country. Owning a coin from 1994 is like holding a piece of that history, a silent witness to one of the most important years in the modern era of South Africa. For collectors, that kind of historical significance adds massive value, not just in terms of money, but in meaning. So why is this particular 10-cent coin so sought after? First, not all 1994 coins are the same. There are variations in minting quality, metal content, and condition. Coins that have remained in pristine condition, no scratches, no discoloration, no wear, are extremely rare. Additionally, because many of these coins were mass-produced and spent years in circulation, finding a 1994 10 cents coin in uncirculated or mint condition is like finding a needle in a haystack. Collectors and numismatists have reported that well-preserved specimens from this year have become increasingly difficult to find. As demand grows, so does the value. If you're lucky enough to come across a 1994 South African 10-cent coin, here are a few things to check. White heavy checkmark. Is the design still sharp and detailed? White heavy checkmark. Is the edge clean, with no nicks or dents? White heavy checkmark. Is there any corrosion or discoloration? White heavy checkmark. Can you still clearly see the mint year and inscriptions? If your coin checks all those boxes, especially if it's never been in circulation, you might be holding on to something far more valuable than you think. Also, keep an eye out for proof coins or special mint editions, which are sometimes produced in small numbers for collectors and investors. These can be even more valuable. So what's the current market saying? Well, believe it or not, a high-quality 1994 South African 10 cents coin has been listed at an astonishing $5,900. Money with wings. Yes, you heard that right, $5,900 for a 10-cent coin. That kind of price isn't just about the metal, it's about the story, the condition, the rarity, and the timing. Coins like these don't just come along every day. And when they do, collectors and investors are willing to pay top dollar to secure them. So next time you're digging through an old drawer or checking your grandfather's coin collection, take a closer look, because you never know, you might have a hidden gem in your hand. And if that gem happens to be a 1994 South African 10 cents coin in great condition, well, you might just be sitting on a small piece of history, worth as much as $5,900. Gemstone.